Hello everyone, welcome to the 20th session of 30 Days to a More Powerful Vocabulary by Norman Lewis and Wilfred Frank. Today we are going to cover word building by the unfolding process. This course is being presented to you by me, Shilpa. Please rate, review, subscribe and recommend the course. Also, please leave your valuable suggestions and comments below. So our first word for today is abstemious. Abstemious is eating and drinking sparingly, self-denying in the indulgence of appetite, like poor people, right? Basically, people who do not have enough money to have their daily 3 square meals a day. So people who are, who eat and drink very sparingly. So who do that? Basically, people who are not rich or people who are destitute. So that is abstemious. Next is chimerical. So chimerical is merely imaginary, fanciful. That everybody hates you is only your chimerical belief. Yeah, like you would know, there are some people, right, who do not have self-confidence, and so they think that every second person doesn't like them, or maybe there is some fault in you and all that. So that's a chimerical belief that everybody hates you. Or I had this when I was a kid. I felt that whenever I saw people laughing, I felt they laughed at me, which was not the case. So again, that was chimerical. It was just a fanciful belief. Or even the idea of romance with a girl, it can be chimerical at times, right? Because you expect something else and it actually might turn out to be something else. Next is facet. Facet means one of the many sides of a jewel or aspect. One aspect. Like, being discipline is one of the many essential facets of human life. So, of student life. So, as a student, apart from being very creative or apart from being very alert, vigilant, patient, a person should also be very disciplined. So, discipline is one of the facets of student life. Let's move on to the next word. The next word is fetish. So fetish is an object of devotion or blind affection, right? Some wives have an absolute fetish out of neatness. So that means that people really like it. They go mad about it. It's almost like they have a paranoia. For example, it's commonly said that तुमको OCD है क्या? OCD means that you have an obsessive compulsive disorder by which you want everything to be at the proper place where it belongs to, right? So then it becomes your devotion or blind affection. Like some housewives, they have a habit of cleaning. If they want everything to be in the prim and proper place, so they have a fetish for cleaning. Next is Machiavellian. Machiavellian means pertaining to a system of political trickery. Many countries saw Machiavellian rule by mad dictators in 1930s and 40s. So that means that it's a system which is pertaining. There is political trickery associated with that system. So that is Machiavellian. Next is ochlocracy. So ochlocracy means mob rule. That means that the mob rules, the common people, they rule, right? For example, these riots and all. So that is an example of ochlocracy, right? Because the mob rules, they decide that this law should be enforced, and then they force the government through through their demands, or through like spilling of milk, one of the recent incidents where people were spilling milks to fulfill demand. So that is also a kind of ochlocracy. So that is the mob is ruling. That is omniscient. Omniscient means all knowing, all wise. Omni means all, so someone that knows everything. So usually it is linked to God, because we consider God as the supreme power, and God as someone who knows everything, who is very wise, who knows all. So omniscient is all knowing. Next is pariah. Pariah is a social outcast. When John's treachery was discovered, he truly became a pariah. So pariah, it's really sad for those who become, because if you have done something that's wrong, maybe raping someone, or some kind of treachery, or maybe robbery, so you might become a social outcast because people might despise you. So then you become a pariah. So pariah basically means a social outcast. Next is peremptory. Peremptory means commanding, bossy, insisting on obedience. Some mothers make their commands so peremptory that they antagonize their children. Exactly. When mothers tend to act like corporate, like corporate people for their children, that becomes a problem, right? That's why it's said that you should not take the personality that you show to people in office at your home, because then it becomes a problem, because you might behave like the same commanding and bossy person that you are in office. So then that peremptory behavior can antagonize the children. Next is poignant. Poignant is strongly affecting emotions, touching. The prisoner painted a poignant picture of his suffering. Poignant means very sad. For example, probably he pasted this. So basically, he might have meant that the food that he was getting was not appropriate and was really bad in taste, or was very, very, very of inferior quality. So that is a very poignant picture. So poignant is strongly trying to evoke emotions. So it's very touching. Next is querulous. Querulous is complaining irritatably. Socrates had a querulous wife. So querulous, obviously, like you call those nagging wives who would complain about every little trivial thing that's going in your house and would blame you for everything. So such people are querulous. Next is specious. Specious is seemingly good or sound but lacking merit. He is winning you over to his side with specious arguments. So that means something that's probably fake. So when I say fake, that means it looks good at the outside, but at the inside it's all wrong. It's lacking any sort of credibility. It is lacking any sort of merit. So that is specious. Next is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous is someone who can be seeming to be everywhere at once, omnipresent. So someone who is present everywhere. All knowing is also God, and someone who is present everywhere. How do we decide? We usually call them to be God. Why? Because I say that every man also has a form of God inside them. So God is ubiquitous. And of course, apart from that, flies are ubiquitous in India in summer. That's very true. Flies are there all around, everywhere in India in summer, and they can be really painful. So that is also ubiquitous. Next is unctuous. So unctuous. So unctuous means smooth and bland, but insincere in pretense of feeling piety, spirituality, or goodness. He is an unctuous person. I don't trust him. Glib, unctuous. So unctuous basically means smooth. It will be so smooth and nice that you may or may not be able to recognize that it is right or wrong, but then it might be wrong, it might be insincere, children can be unctuous at times, or some children are unctuous who actually deceive their parents by false trickery, by false maybe faking illness or maybe some other thing. So unctuous means that it seems right, but it is not. It seems to be very correct, and it is smooth and bland, but it is insincere, right? So basically fake pretense. Next is vainglorious. Vainglorious is having great self-pride. You can see, vain and glorious. Vain is with no result. Glorious is glorifying yourself. So somebody who is unnecessarily glorifying himself, and he believes in undue elation, boasting, or self-praise, such a person would be vainglorious. That vainglorious and pompous senator annoys all who know them, right? A lot of people, some failed actors, they also tend to be vainglorious because they're used to a lot of limelight, but nobody gives them, so they tend to use their own means to be popular. That's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the session. Thank you so much.